Dota 2 is a 2013 multiplayer online battle arena video game and the standalone sequel to the Defense of the Ancients Warcraft III, Reign of Chaos and Warcraft III, the Frozen Throne mod. Developed by Valve Corporation, Dota 2 was released as a free-to-play title for Microsoft Windows, concluding a public beta testing phase that began in 2011. OS X and Linux versions of Dota 2 were released on July 18, 2013. The game is available exclusively through Valve's content delivery platform, Steam. Dota 2 is played in discrete matches involving two 5-player teams, each of which occupies a stronghold at a corner of the map. Each stronghold contains a building called the Ancient, which the opposite team must destroy to win the match. Each player controls a hero character and focuses on leveling up, collecting gold, acquiring items and fighting against the other team to achieve victory. Development of Dota 2 began in 2009, when the developer of the Dota mod, IceFrog, was hired by Valve as lead designer. Dota 2 was praised by video game critics, who lauded its rewarding gameplay, enhanced production quality and faithfulness to its predecessor. However, the game was criticized for its steep learning curve and inhospitable community. Dota 2 has become the most actively played game on Steam, with daily peaks of over 800,000 concurrent players. Gameplay. Dota 2 is a multiplayer online battle arena game, with the gameplay focused around combat in a three-dimensional environment from an oblique high-angle perspective. The player may command a single controllable character called a hero, which is chosen from a selection pool of up to 107. Each hero begins the match at level 1, but may become more powerful by leveling up by accumulating experience through combat. With every level gained, to the maximum of 25, the player may select a new ability for their hero to learn, or else enhance their general statistics. The hero's methods of combat is influenced by its primary property, which can be strength, agility, or intelligence. Dota 2 features a host of items which the player may obtain predominantly through purchase by gold, the currency of the game. Items vary in function, as some enhance the statistics of a hero, while others grant additional abilities. Gold is granted at a steady rate, though it can be accumulated in greater quantity by destroying enemies. Killing non-player characters grants gold solely to the player who landed the final blow, whereas killing enemy heroes grants gold to nearby allies, as well. Destroying towers or killing Roshan gives gold to all players on the team. Denying is a feature of the game where players inhibit the enemy's ability to accumulate gold and experience by killing an allied unit or destroying an allied structure before the enemy can do so. Each match of Dota 2 takes place on a functionally symmetrical map that features the strongholds of two warring factions, the Radiant and the Dire. The Radiant is based at the southwest corner of the map, while the Dire is based at the northeast corner. The two sides are divided by a river that runs perpendicular to the central lane. These factions are defended by up to 5 players each, and are pitted against one another to compete as the defenders for their respective ancient. In each stronghold is a critical structure called the Ancient, a fountain that provide health and lesser structures. These bases are connected by 3 paths, referred to as lanes. 2 run parallel with the edges of the map, while one runs directly between the 2 bases. The lanes are guarded by defensive towers, as well as autonomous characters called creeps, which periodically spawn in groups and traverse the lanes, attacking enemies they encounter. Featured across the map are hostile characters referred to as neutrals, which are not aligned to either faction and are primarily located in the forests. Located in a tarn on the northeast side of the river is a boss called Roshan, who typically requires multiple team members to kill and drops powerful items. Dota 2 features a variety of seasonal events, which provide players with the option of playing the game with special game modes that alter the aesthetics and objectives. With the seasonal event game modes, the central focus of the game shifts away from the standard battle composition, in order to focus on new objectives central to the seasonal events. Thus far, there have been 3 seasonal events to take place, including the Halloween-themed Diretide event, the Christmas-themed Frostivos event, and the New Bloom Festival, which celebrates the coming of spring. Development, Origins. The earliest version of Dota emerged in 2003, with the release of the custom Warcraft III, Reign of Chaos mod called Defense of the Ancients, which was created and updated by the pseudonymous designer Yu. After Blizzard Entertainment released the expansion pack The Frozen Throne in 2003, clones of the .A mod competed for popularity, and .A All-Stars by Steve Gerwin-Sufik being the most popular. With the assistance of his friend, Steve Pendragon Meskin, Fig created the official .A community website Dota-Allstars.com and formed a holding company for it called .A All-Stars, LLC. When Fig retired from developing .A in 2005, a friend, under the pseudonym IceFrog, took his place. The popularity of .A increased significantly. It became one of the most popular mods in the world, and, by 2008, a prominent electronic sports title. In May 2009, IceFrog and Meskin had a falling out, prompting the latter to create a new official community at plydota.com. Concept: according to Valve Corporation Managing Director Gabby Newell, the company's investment in Defense of the Ancients began when several veteran employees including Team Fortress designer Robin Walker, programmer Adrian Final and project manager Eric Johnson became interested in the mod and attempted to play it competitively. They began to correspond with IceFrog about his long-term plans for the mod. The email conversations culminated in Eric Johnson offering IceFrog a tour of the company, after which he was hired to develop a sequel. The first public notification regarding the development of the game was a post on IceFrog's blog on October 5, 2009, in which he disclosed that he would be leading a team at Valve. No further word was given until Dota 2 was officially announced on October 13, 2010, when the website of Game Informer revealed a general synopsis of the game and its development. The resultant surge of traffic crashed Game Informer's servers. With Valve's acquisition of the franchise, the company adopted the term Dota, which deviated from the original mod's acronym for Defense of the Ancients. Eric Johnson explained that this was for the reason that the term Dota refers to a concept, rather than an acronym. Shortly after a questions and answers session by IceFrog about the new game, Valve filed a trademark claim. At Gamescom 2011, Gabby Newell said that the trademark was a necessary measure for developing a sequel with the already identifiable brand name. Steve Feek and Steve Meskin expressed their concern that Valve did not have the right to trademark the Dota name, which they believed was a community asset. They filed an opposing trademark for DOTA on behalf of .A All-Stars, LLC, then a subsidiary of their employer, Riot Games, on August 9, 2010. Rob Pardo, the executive vice president of Blizzard Entertainment, expressed a similar concern, explaining his perspective that the .A name was an asset of their games community. Blizzard acquired .A All-Stars, LLC from Riot Games and filed in opposition against Valve in November 2011, citing Blizzard's ownership of both the Warcraft III World Editor and .A All-Stars, LLC as proper claims to the franchise. On May 11, 2012, Blizzard and Valve announced that the dispute had been settled, with Valve retaining the commercial franchising rights to the term Dota, while non-commercial usage of the name could still be utilized. Design: the preliminary design focus of Dota 2 was to translate the aesthetic aspects of its predecessor to the source engine, while also expanding support for the core gameplay. Dota 2 features the factions of the Radiant and the Dire in the stead of the Sentinel and the Scourge respectively, with the characters' respective alignment preserved, while also re-establishing their individual character traits in a standalone form. Character names, abilities, items, map design and other fine details remain predominantly unchanged, but the source engine allows for continued, scaled development to bypass engine limitations of the Warcraft III World Editor. The Dota profile matchmaking feature scales a player's automated placement with their estimated skill level, which supports the competitive experience. Unranked practice matches can also be played with other human players, AI bots, or alone. In the debut questions and answers post at the Dota 2 blog, IceFrog stated that the game would serve as the long-term continuation of the intellectual property of the original mod, building upon the gameplay without making many significant core changes that could potentially alter the overall experience. According to Valve, the company contracted major contributors to Dota's popularity, in order to assist in developing Dota 2, including the mod's original creator known as Yule, as well as loading screen artist Kendrick Lim of Imaginary Friends Studios. In addition, the composer of Warcraft 3, Jason Hayes, was contracted by Valve to collaborate with Tim Larkin to develop Dota 2's musical score. IceFrog stated that in order to further emphasize Dota 2's premise as a continuation of Dota, contributions would remain consistent from sources outside the main development team. To accommodate Dota 2, Valve updated the source engine to include new features, such as high-end cloth modeling and improved global lighting. Valve also improved Steamworks, which includes a wider expansion of utilities, such as player guides and a coaching system. Dota 2 utilizes Valve's Steam software to provide social and community functionality for the game, while Steam users may save personal files and settings in their online accounts using the Steam Cloud. Dota 2 also features multiple options of live spectating in the tradition of competitive Valve titles. The game host has the option to fill open slots with AI bots. On November 14, 2013, Valve introduced the coaching system to allow experienced players to tutor newer players with special in-game tools. In addition to the online platform established by Steam, Valve introduced local area network multiplayer connectivity to Dota 2 on September 23, 2013. Valve implemented a tournament support feature in June 2012. Tournaments are available for spectating in-game via the purchase of tournament tickets in the Dota store, which provide an alternative to viewing live streams online. The tickets allow players to spectate competitive matches in-game and to watch both live and completed matches, with a portion of the ticket fee going to the tournament organizers. In addition, teams may be formally identified by the game's software, which automatically recognizes games with recurring assemblies of players as being team matches and catalogs them as such. As part of a plan to create a social network based around Dota 2, Gabby Newell announced in April 2012 that the game would be free to play, with an accentuation on player contributions to the community. On June 1, 2012, the Dota development team at Valve formally confirmed that the game would be free to play with no added cost for having the full roster of heroes and item inventory readily available. Income for Dota 2 would, however, be maintained through the Dota store, where players could purchase various exclusively cosmetic virtual goods, such as in-game items. Until the game's release, players were able to purchase an early access bundle, which included a digital copy of Dota 2, along with several in-game cosmetic items. The Dota store comprises custom creations developed by Valve, as well as products from the Steam Workshop, which is a system in which users may submit creations for review by Valve and if successful, would be incorporated into Dota 2. The market model was fashioned after Team Fortress 2, which became successful in June 2011 and had reimbursed cosmetic designers with $3.5 million of income as of the free-to-play announcement. In January 2014, Gabby Newell revealed that the average Steam Workshop contributor to Dota 2 made approximately $15,000 from their creations in 2013. In order to abide by the standards set by the economic legislation of specific countries, Valve opted to contract with nationally based developers for publishing. On October 19, 2012, the leading Beijing-based video game developer and publisher, Perfect World, announced the acquisition of the exclusive rights to publish and distribute Dota 2 in China. On November 9, 2012, a similar deal was made with the Tokyo-based developer and publisher, Nexon Company Limited, to publish and distribute in Japan and South Korea. Merchandise. The rising popularity of Dota 2 led Valve to produce apparel, accessories, prints, and a number of other products featuring the characters and other elements from the game. In addition, Valve secured various licensing contracts with third-party producers, the first of which, a Dota 2 edition of the SteelSeries QCK Plus mousepad, was announced at Gamescom 2011, coinciding with the first public display of the game. On September 25, 2012, Weta Workshop, the studio that developed the Aegis of the Immortal Trophy for the Champions of the International 2012, announced a prop product line that would include statues, weapons and armor based on Dota 2 artwork. On February 10, 2013, the National Entertainment Collectibles Association announced a new toy line featuring hero-themed action figures at the American International Toy Fair. Documentary. Leading up to the public unveiling of Dota 2 at the International 2011, Valve documented the lives and stories of 3 professional Dota players, Benedict High-Lim, Daniel Dendy-Ishiton and Clinton Fear Loomis, and what the game and unprecedented scale of the tournament meant to them. In August 2012, Game Trailers announced that Valve was developing the then-unnamed documentary. Throughout June 2013, Valve conducted what they described as a private beta testing phase, in which they invited a small number of individuals to visit the company headquarters located in Bellevue, Washington, in order to offer early screenings of the documentary for input. When the invite was leaked to Kotaku, the vice president of marketing at Valve, Doug Lombardi, confirmed the documentary's development and revealed its name to be free-to-play. The documentary was released on March 19, 2014 and was distributed through outlets including Steam, iTunes and YouTube. Release. After extensive internal testing, Dota 2 was first made visible to the public at Gamescom 2011, with the first edition of the International. To coincide with this event, Valve opened the sign-up for beta invitations. The first few invites were sent out shortly after Gamescom. During the event, Gabby Newell speculated that Dota 2 would likely ship in 2012, despite original plans for a full release in late 2011. On September 23, 2011, Valve scrapped its previous development and release plans, which would have kept the game in its closed beta phase for over a year. The new plan described by IceFrog in an announcement post looked to release an open beta as early as possible and to implement the remaining heroes afterward. Simultaneously, Valve announced that the non-disclosure agreement for the beta was being lifted, allowing testers to discuss the game and their experiences publicly. After nearly 2 years of beta testing, Dota 2 was officially released on July 9, 2013, with an active user base of 3 million players. 2 months following the game's release, Gabby Newell claimed that updates to Dota 2 generated up to 3% global internet traffic. On December 16, 2013, the final restrictions against unlimited global access to Dota 2 were lifted after the game's infrastructure and servers were substantially bolstered. Reception. Pre-release, PC Gamer reviewed Dota 2 in September 2012 stating the game was an unbelievably deep and complex game that offers the purest sequel to the original. A. Rewarding like few others, but tough, giving it a rating of 85/100. In May 2013, Dota 2 reached almost 330,000 concurrent players and holds the record for the game with the most concurrent users in Steam history, breaking its own record set in March the same year. Simultaneous with this benchmark, it was determined that the concurrent number of Dota 2 players in May 2013 outweighed the number of players for the rest of Steam's top 10 most played games combined. Post-release, Dota 2 was very well received by critics. On aggregate review website Metacritic, the game maintains a weighted score of 90 out of 100, based on 31 reviews. On Game Rankings, the game has a score of 89%. Based on reviews from 15 critics. Adam Biesner, the editor who authored the reveal piece for Dota 2 for Game Informer magazine in 2010, praised Valve for maintaining the same mechanics and game balance that made Defense of the Ancient successful nearly a decade prior, and Quintin Smith of Eurogamer described Dota 2 as the supreme form of the MOBA which everyone else working in the genre is trying to capture like lightning in a bottle. In September 2013, Dota 2 had 500,000 concurrent players. The depth, delivery and overall balance of Dota 2 were generally the most commonly attributed positive features of the game, which outweighed the relatively steep learning curve. In GameSpot's 9/10 review, Martin Gaston described the game as complicated, exhausting, and sometimes cruel, but an incredibly satisfying and exciting multiplayer game. Phil Cameron of IGN praised Dota 2 as amazing, complimenting the rewarding experience, longevity, variety and free-to-play basis, but criticized the game's steep learning curve. Patrick Hancock of Destructoid described Dota 2 as a hallmark of excellence, acknowledging that there may be flaws, but they are negligible and won't cause massive damage to what is a supreme title. Matt Lees of Videogamer.com called Dota 2 an amazing and inherently overwhelming game in the site's review. In PC Gamer's 90/100 review, Chris Thurston described the game as a deep and rewarding competitive game. While the majority of reviewers gave Dota 2 highly positive reviews, a common criticism was that the game maintains a steep learning curve that requires exceptional commitment to overcome. While providing a moderately positive review that praised Valve's product stability, Fredrik Östlund from the Swedish division of Gamma Reactor described his first match of Dota 2 as one of the most humiliating and inhospitable experiences of his gaming career, citing the learning curve and players' attitudes as unwelcoming. Benjamin Danberg of GameStar alluded to the learning curve as a learning cliff, calling the newcomer's experience to be painful, with the tutorial feature new to the Dota franchise only being partially successful. In a review for the Metro newspaper, Dota 2 was criticized for not compensating for the flaws with the learning curve from Dota, as well as the predominantly negative online community, as it is often the case for multiplayer online battle arena games. Awards and accolades. Following its first public showing, Dota 2 won IGN's People's Choice Award. In December 2012, PC Gamer listed Dota 2 as a nominee for the 2012 Game of the Year award, as well as the Best Electronic Sports Title of the Year. The game won 2013 Esport of the Year awards from PC Gamer and On Gamers. Game Trailers awarded the game the award for Best PC Game of 2013. Dota 2 was nominated for a number of Game of the Year awards by Destructoid, including the award for the Best Competitive Game. While the staff selected StarCraft II, Heart of the Swarm, Dota 2 won the vast majority of the votes distributed between the 9 nominees. For IGN's Best of 2013 award series, Dota 2 won the awards for Best PC Strategy and Tactics Game, as well as Best PC Multiplayer Game. The Games Awards for IGN's Best of 2013 won their People's Choice Award counterparts, as well. Similarly, Game Informer recognized Dota 2 for the categories of Best PC Exclusive, Best Competitive Multiplayer and Best Strategy of 2013. In the 2013 edition of Game Revolution's countdown of the top 25 PC video games of all time, Dota 2 was listed in the number 4 position. Dota 2 was nominated for Best Multiplayer Game for the 2014 British Academy of Film and Television Arts Video Game Awards, but lost to Grand Theft Auto V, Professional Competition. To ensure the transition of Dota players to Dota 2, Valve invited and sponsored 16 of the most accomplished teams to compete and showcase the game's capabilities with its public debut at the International, a global championship hosted at Gamescom 2011 in Cologne, Germany, with a grand prize of $1 million. The International became an annual championship tournament, with the venue changing to Seattle, Washington, United States. In 2012, the tournament was hosted during PAX Prime, with Chinese team Invictus Gaming going on to defeat the defending champions, Natus Vincia. In its third year, the International reclaimed its previous title as the largest prize pool in electronic sports history, exceeding the $2 million prize pool from the League of Legends Season 2 World Championship with a total prize pool of over $2.8 million USD, thanks to the sales of the interactive compendium. The 2013 championship was won by the Swedish team Alliance, whose prize exceeded $1.4 million USD. The fourth iteration of the International is scheduled to take place in the Key Arena in Seattle between July 18 and July 21, 2014. The interactive compendium was once again made available on May 11, 2014, which exceeded its 13 stretch goals in 13 days, totaling for over a $6 million prize pool, making for the largest tournament in electronic sports history. Following the inaugural event of the International, several electronic sports tournaments began to transition from Dota to Dota 2, including the Electronic Sports World Cup. DreamHack would also support Dota 2 in 2011, following a year without support for the original, on account of the other multiplayer online battle arena titles Heroes of Newerth and League of Legends. By the end of its first year in its beta phase, Dota 2 was one of the highest-paying esport titles of 2011, second only to StarCraft II. Dota 2 began as an official title for the World Cyber Games annual event in 2012. The Electronic Sports League began a seasonal tournament for Dota 2 called the Raid Call EMS1 in 2013, which was the largest independent tournament for Dota 2 by the beginning of 2013. Beginning in September 2013, the Association of China Esports began a Dota 2 tournament called the WPCACE Dota 2 League, which had the largest grand prize by a third party in electronic sports history and the largest prize pool for Dota 2 beyond the international. On June 12, 2013, at the Electronic Entertainment Expo, Nexon announced the investment of 2 billion South Korea won into amateur and professional leagues in South Korea for 2013, to coincide with the launch of the distribution agreement in the fall of that year. Eric Johnson commented in an interview that the implementation of the game's LAN feature was intended to promote smaller, independent competitions and local tournaments. References. External links, official website, Dota 2 at the Internet Movie Database.